I'm Theo Schaft from the Twisted News, and I'm here to explore the untold stories of resilience and hope in Gaza. Here we are, another year and another chapter in Gaza's endless saga of suffering, the all-too-familiar thud of bombs, and the heart-wrenching cries of children. The world watches, silently witnessing this relentless cycle of violence. This conflict, now in its second year, is a profound human tragedy. The latest escalation is a grim reminder of how fragile peace can be. We can't let apathy set in. Even amidst the rubble and tears, there's still hope. Hope for a future where peace prevails. It all started with just a spark. 1 year ago, on October 7th, Hamas kicked off the Al-Aqsa flood, and Gaza was thrown into chaos. They were determined to strike back at their enemies. Israel didn't waste any time hitting back hard. The airstrikes aimed at Hamas, but sadly, many innocent lives were lost too. The ground offensive left behind a path of destruction and death. People around the world watched anxiously, hoping it would end quickly. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, it was clear this was a full-scale war. Gaza used to be full of life and culture, but now it looks like a wasteland. The constant bombing has turned whole neighborhoods into piles of rubble. Homes, schools, hospitals, everything is in ruins, showing just how random and brutal war can be. The numbers are shocking. Thousands have died and tens of thousands are injured. Most of these casualties are civilians, innocent people caught in a conflict they never wanted. Gaza's infrastructure, already weak from years of blockade and fighting, is now in shambles. Power cuts are normal, clean water is hard to find, and hospitals can't keep up. The smell of death is everywhere, a harsh reminder of the human toll of this war. The stories coming out of Gaza are truly heartbreaking. We're hearing about unimaginable losses, families being torn apart, and lives completely shattered. Parents are weeping over the lifeless bodies of their children. "We're living in hell," whispers a young mother. "There's just no escape from the bombs." So the world is watching the Gaza conflict closely, with leaders expressing condemnation, concern, and urging restraint. The United Nations and various world leaders are calling for a ceasefire and more humanitarian aid. But behind all these diplomatic statements, there's a lot of disagreement. While the international community debates, the people of Gaza are still suffering. The situation in Gaza is really tense and could easily spread to the whole region. This conflict might pull in other countries, making things even more unstable. Hezbollah is backing Hamas and has warned Israel about the consequences of harming Palestinians. Iran is also supporting Hamas and has strongly criticized Israel's actions. On the other hand, Israel is ready to hit back hard if attacked. If things get worse, the whole region could be dragged into a bigger conflict. Even in the midst of all the despair and destruction, there are still some glimmers of hope. Mediators have been going back and forth between the warring parties, trying to work out a ceasefire. Egypt has been really active, hosting talks between Israeli and Palestinian representatives. But the road to peace is full of challenges. For the sake of innocent civilians, the international community just can't give up hope. So, even if there's a ceasefire, the journey to recovery for Gaza is going to be really tough. The destruction is massive, and the human toll is beyond words. Rebuilding homes, schools, hospitals, and infrastructure is going to need a huge international effort. But it's not just about bricks and mortar. It's about rebuilding lives, bringing back hope, and creating a future where people in Gaza can live with dignity and security. So what does the future hold for Gaza? Right now, the ceasefire is hanging by a thread. The big issues, they're still up in the air. So can there really be peace? Can they find a way to live together safely? It all comes down to talking and finding middle ground. What's happening in Gaza is heartbreaking for everyone involved. It's a powerful reminder of the human cost of hatred and why we urgently need peace. We can't let the voices of the voiceless be ignored. We have to demand a future without fear and violence. Let's come together to create a future where peace is the norm.